Good day and welcome to Agric today on ARSN Television, Mabushi, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. This week we shall take you through the meeting between the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Temitope Fashedemi, and state coordinators and directors of agriculture. Represented by the Director, Plant and Policy Coordination, Mr. Tanimu Ibrahim, the Permanent Secretary said there is a need for sustained synergy between the state offices and federal counterparts. Dr. Fashedemi disclosed that the ministry intends to set up 2 new committees to help bridge the gap between the state and the federal level of agriculture workers. Let's listen to him.
On the second thought, let me once again, on behalf of the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Security Management and Staff, welcome you guys to the ministry today and tell you that you are important pillars of this ministry because you are the ones in the state. And we have programs and initiatives that we intend to engage you to ensure that we deliver service to the nation. We are all aware that the country is charged under emergency situation of food security. So much is expected from us. We cannot do it alone. We must have this synergy and collaboration. Over the years, the concern of the ministry is to see how they can fund the state offices and regional offices. But unfortunately, this year, we have not had releases. The releases are still hanging. We would have implemented some of those drives, initiatives that we intend to. Now, we intend to set up 2 committees at the state level to utilize you guys to ensure that the services we are rendering are actually being delivered at the state and have impact. And we also expect you to give us reports of those impacts of the initiatives of the investment of government at the state and the regional level. Now, there are some of these initiatives that are coming up. The President has approved 3 new initiatives on mechanization. The Belarus, the Greener Hub mechanization initiative, then there is the John Deere. All are aimed at technology transfer, translation. We are going to have this year, before the end of this year, more than 8,000 tractors to be dispatched to the states and the local government. We cannot be talking about our own welfare without talking about what we are going to do to save this nation from food insecurity. That is one initiative. There are other initiatives that are ongoing. The NAX program is there. There are programs by departments trying to bring up new innovation. The Soil Smart Card initiative is coming to help farmers know the kind of input they will apply to the soil to cultivate more yields. The issue of land clearing is coming up. The issue of offices, your offices. They are all numerous ones, as well as extension services. You have been engaging with extension services. On my own part, we have been engaging with you on these programs, projects, contracts, that you certify some of this work with. So we want to carry you on board to make sure that you are actually field officers and you are all responsible for whatever is going in the states and the zones. Now, without taking much of your time, because we have time constraint, we have 6 other meetings that are coming up, I will stop at this moment and allow you to make your brief so that we discuss and make corporate recommendations.
On the part, zonal directors and state coordinators expressed appreciation to the permanent secretary for the invite. They said it will further boost their morale in their assignments to finding lasting solutions to food scarcity. Represented by the Southeast Zone Coordinator, Dr. Benjamin Puja, they asked the federal government to do more in the area of training of staff, especially extension workers.
It is indeed a rare privilege to present at this August meeting on behalf of the zonal directors and state coordinators matters of great importance for the actualization of food security in our nation, especially at a time like this. To your excellencies, recall that one of the elements of the Renewed Hope agenda is agricultural transformation to increase agricultural production, processing, and export, thereby diversifying the economy, as well as providing millions of employment for our teeming youths along the various agricultural value chains of crops, livestock, and aquaculture. Furthermore, the mandate of the zonal and regional offices is basically that of monitoring and supervision of the implementation of the renewed policy on agriculture. Responsibilities that include, I will enumerate them now, representing the Honorable Minister in the zones, coordination of the state within the zones, providing technical support to the state together with the state coordination offices, partnering with the state ministries of agriculture together with relevant stakeholders such as the ADPs, the ATASP, LPRES, and other projects that we have ongoing, and occasionally conducting training for our staffs, and finally attending meetings like this. However, achieving this, the above, has become a Herculean task, as the Permanent Secretary has reduced the burden for us. He has already atomized them. I will only repeat them here. And activities at the state and zonal offices has become almost comatose due to the following reasons. Number one, we all agree that there's inadequate and timely funding. These delays and insufficiency in funding has hindered our ability to execute field operations as and when due, and even to supervise them as they are going on effectively. The state offices and the zonal directorates were established in the year 2012. And you will agree with me that since they were created, vehicles were purchased for operational use. Unfortunately, as we speak, most of these vehicles from that 2012 to 2024, that's about 12 years now, they are unserviceable and have been boarded. So which means that the state offices, the zonal offices don't have operational vehicles to work with. And I remember, and I can recall too, at the beginning, at the onset, the zonal offices had these SUVs whereby when the minister visits any zone, instead of coming with vehicles from the headquarters, just make use of them. Each zone as it goes, there's already an SUV waiting for them to make use of. They are no more there because they have been boarded. And thirdly, on staff welfare, we found out that most often than not, staff welfare has been an issue of the headquarters. It doesn't cascade down to us at the zones and the state offices. So we are pleading, sir, for you to use the good offices. Anytime there's something coming to staff here, please remember us. Please remember us. And issues of training too, staff training. There were these days that some time ago, I believe, staff were even trained overseas. But for some time now, this is it is like a forgotten issue. I think we should revisit it again. Then the issue of security. Security, especially at the time like this, cannot be overemphasized. Most of the offices, I will come to that again, they are really dilapidated. The fencing, the issue of payment of those ARPA staff, because at the time when I could remember, between 1999 and 2004, there was this outsourcing of security and cleaning of all federal offices across the nation. And because of that, we now have to engage ARPA staff. They were outsourced. At a point in time, those companies were relinquished of their duties. To that effect, now we have ad hoc staff, which means that we have to pay them. Among them are security officers. Now you can imagine owing a security man 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. In this economy, sir, we have to look at it. We are playing, sir. And then, like I said again, we need to look at some of the equipments we make use of at the zonal and state offices. All the items we are making use of now were gotten about 12 years ago. Yes, 2012 now. So you find that the furnitures, the computer, the accessories, like in my office, the visa has not worked for the past 6 or 7 years. We have a visa equipment which was supposed to provide at least internet services to us. Like we're having meetings, whether it is within the zone, we can be able to have a Zoom meeting. And that facility is just there moribund, not working. So we have to look at see those accessories and the dilapidated furniture will at least be looked into soon. At the same time, well, this is the 6th one now, staffing, especially technical officers. For some time now, we found out that most of the new officers that are engaged in this ministry, they find themselves just here at the headquarters. Oh yes. Now when you now go to the states and the zonal offices, these technical officers that are supposed to man the various agricultural value chains are not there. So if we are going to say, let's take for example, even if it is just cassava or rice or wheat, you need to have somebody that is in the state that can monitor the progress of that value chain in that state and by extension in that zone. So there's that of officers at the state and the zonal level. We are pleading with you, sir, if you can look into it and address it. And the 7th one now, provision of stores and renovation of office buildings. Like I said, these buildings have been there since 2012. Most of them, they are looking so unkempt. Not because we are not taking care of them. They have been cleaned quite okay, but if you look at the paint, they are gone, they are faded. So maybe if you can help us to upgrade them and to enhance, paint them, it will boost staff morale. At least you are coming to your office and you see it very neat and clean. You'll be in there to say, oh, I'm happy to go to my office. Now the 8th one, which is, I think, at the heart of each and every one of us here. In recent times, we found out that the line of communication between the headquarters here and those of us at the zonal level and the state is not streamlined. What do I mean? There are times we found out that communication from the headquarters here goes straight to the state offices, maybe to the commissioner or to whoever, without maybe passing through the zone and the state what such information is going to. And with this is we are there to work on behalf of the ministry to supervise whatever it is that is taking place at the state. We feel that such communication should pass to us. Let me give you an example. Recently there was the launching of El Press in Enugu. And by the time they were doing the inauguration of a regional veterinary hospital built for the zone, invitations were sent. Unfortunately, none was sent to either myself or even my state coordinator. I happened to be there because I'm a veterinary surgeon. So at our meeting of association, we were invited. After the meeting, I now have to approach the national program coordinator. I said, it's like you have forgotten about federal news of agriculture. When I look at the protocol, agriculture is not represented. And this is the kind of things at times we see. We are pleading, sir. But henceforth, should there be any activity that will take place, please, even if you don't want us to be there, just notify us something that is taking place. Yes, that's something that is taking place in your zone, in your state. So that will be carried along. We don't want to be working across purpose. I want us to work as a team, whereby we move this ministry forward and at the same time achieve the goal of the ministry, which is food security for all. Finally, our relationship between the zonal directors and the state coordinators. It is pertinent to point out that the roles of the zonal offices include but not limited to overseeing, supervising, and monitoring and evaluating, as well as reporting activities carried out by the state offices on behalf of the minister. This synergy should be encouraged and maintained for seamless representation of the ministry. And you see, at times as I look at it this way. Supposing each and every state coordinator will send a report directly to the permanent secretary. We are talking about 36, 37 plus 6. That's about 41, 43. That would be so bogus. But by the time we streamline the state coordinators forwarding their reports of the activities to the zone, the zonal directors will now collect and send, like what I have here. The director special duty said I should come with a hard copy of what we did for the second quarter. It will be easier, though it will be in soft copy anyway, for him to have 6 reports than to have 43. And by it, if you look at the template, you see the period of the report, you see projects that are completed, you see uncompleted projects, the challenges, the needs, and then the remark. By such heading, it will be so easy for the permanent secretary and by extension the entire ministry to know that, look, this project we have at this state or this zone has been completed or not completed, ongoing, and whatever activity that is being carried out, you just see in a nutshell.
The zonal director have spoken our minds that I wish to happen on the issue of warehouses. Most of the departments procure inputs, equipments, and machineries sent to the states. But at the state level, we lack warehouses where we keep these items. Some of them are exposed to harsh weather and also prying ice. Given the situation we have in the country now, definitely it will be tempted to woodlots who always come to the office and see them exposed decide issue of anybody coming to see them. So I hope the ministry will look at the issue of providing warehouses where we keep these items safe, and they will be under the sheet, preventing wear and tear. And secondly, it is important as soon as these inputs are prepared, they should be immediately distributed. Let them not stay for long. Leaving them staying for long render some of them useless at the end of the day. Let me draw attention of our directors, especially chemicals, herbicides. Some of them, by the time they prepare them, if they are not distributed immediately, they expire. And it will be identical on the image of the ministry to see that we distribute expired items to our farmers. So I call on the directors, the permanent secretary, at least to provide warehouses, even if it is at the zonal level or at the state level where the inputs are being delivered. And you've already mentioned, we mentioned issue of security. Definitely our culture workers, we need to add more of them so that security will be provided, given the situation we are in, particularly the just recent protests. So we have those kind of things. Our offices will be vulnerable to attacks. But this is what I will prevent on behalf of my colleagues from the Northeast. And issue of staffing, definitely we need more staff, particularly technical staff for the various departments.
By expressing our profound gratitude to the permanent secretary for granting this morale boosting and capacity building meeting. Honestly, by making ourselves available here, our morale and that of our colleagues there in the state have already been boosted. Some of us doesn't have a privilege and chance to engage with the line directors and the permanent secretaries. We only see you on TV. So, giving us this golden privilege to be here, we feel among. We feel like really we are very, very important. Since the coming in of the permanent secretary, we have seen the game-changing plan. As my colleagues has rightly expressed, it's the first time for over 4 to 5 years for the state and zonal coordinators to have a chance to meet with their bosses up front. Another area that will give us a sort of a kind of hope and kind of courage that really the offices at the state levels are being recognized, and there is time for them to express what they felt and how we can actually strengthen a bended area. So, the area where I think the zonal coordinator in the Northeast has already, zonal director in the Northeast has already highlighted most of the challenges. The only area where I think I need to say something a bit there is, sir, giving a possibility of various states to submit, to make a submission in the appropriation based on need assessment. You will agree with me that the Prime Minister of Agriculture is spending a lot of money, but sometimes you find such structures not being properly used based on the fact that the community is not what they needed at that time. I'm not in any way that saying the state coordinators has to be involved in submission of budget defense, but let their submission be considered where the ministry thinks is something to worth considering for, and ministry can actually go ahead and establish it, then we consider it for budget and appropriations. But believe you me, we have a lot of structures that actually the community left just for the fact that the need assessment is not there, the sustainability will be difficult, but if the appropriation is considered and being submitted only in the areas where those communities need it, I assure you it will be properly be utilized and properly being tapped. Before I conclude my little submission, I want to once again appreciate the effort of both the former Director of Special Duties, which is currently now the Director of Human Resources, and the current sitting Director of Special Duties, for at least changing the game as business as usual, giving the special considerations to the state offices and zonal offices to see that you have to come on board, because we have the belief that the agriculture, though the policy is being planned at the top, but I believe the overall outcome, the overall production, the agriculture itself is being practiced in the field. So, sir, we once again want to express our unquantifiable appreciation for giving us this wonderful opportunity, and we wish more of this meeting to become more time to time.
The training, according to the coordinators and zonal directors, will fit and strengthen the results from their end. And that's it for this week on Agric Today. Please join us again, same station next week. Don't forget to like our YouTube page. It's ARSN TV and Radio on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button so that you can get notified when we drop new episodes of this program. I remain your host, Khadija Oluwatoyin, saying bye for now.